Welcome back to the Relationship Whisperer Show with Miss Dragonfly, where we discuss all things relationships with the aim to make marriage great again. And I'll have to say, hello, Bluey. Bluey's taken a day off today. I think I scared him last week. So BJ's been brave enough to come step in.
Hello, Miss Dragonfly. How are you?
Good.
Are you well?
Yes.
Have you had a good week?
Yes.
Good.
Yes. So more, but a bit outraged. As you know, there's been a recent outcome of a court case. I don't know if
tell
you've
us
heard.
more.
Have you heard of Tickle versus Giggle case?
Oh.
Yes. What's happened is it's funny as well. Tickle and Giggle.
Okay. Like it so far.
Yeah. Look, there's an app. Look, the lady's name is Sally Grover. Mm-hmm. She produced an app for women, exclusively for women. Now, it's for women to connect with each other, find flatmates and things like that, and bond and maybe make friends. And it's a woman's only space. Now, a transgender, which is a biological male, I think he got the chop. That had sex surgery.
So he'd had the surgery.
So, yeah, I think he had the surgery, but
All right,
look,
this stuff confuses
this stuff
me.
I'm going to say he. It's I go by biology. Right. Okay, it's a he.
It's your show.
It's a he.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Every chromosome in his body is screaming XY. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if it's cosmetic surgery. Look, if you're dark haired, you dye your hair blonde. Are you really a blonde? You know, that's it. Come on.
No,
Are
it's
you
true.
really a blonde? You know,
No,
because your genes are saying you're brunette.
Yes.
Every gene in your body is a brunette gene.
Yep.
But you've dyed your hair blonde. Oh, no, I'm a blonde. You're not a blonde.
Right.
you just identify as blonde.
Okay.
But, you know, that sort of thing. Now, the AI, basically to register, it's the person's name is Roxanne Tickle. That's why the case is Tickle versus Giggle. You're going to tickle you and you giggle.
Got it.
All right.
Days.
Okay. Apply to the app. Now, the computer allowed him to join, but then later, Sal, she's known, actually saw the picture and rejected.
So it was a manual intervention.
Yeah, it was a manual intervention to cut him off.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, because look, the way, if you've seen the picture of Roxanne, you can tell it's a man. So it still had facial hair growing out, even though it grew shoulder length hair, and the voice is entirely male.
But had the sex change.
I think I believe so. I'm not too sure.
Or was it just identifying as a female?
Well, at least identifying. There were reports that there had been surgery, but
unsure.
I can't be sure of that. Okay. But the people tend to get pretty defensive when they're asked.
They do.
Have you actually got the chop?
Right.
Yeah. They get defensive.
Okay.
So so he sued Sally Grover. Okay, and the federal court. This is what happened in 2004 and 24. Said no. It said actually he was a victim of indirect discrimination.
Wow.
You have to ordered Sally to pay $10,000. That's the legal fees.
Dang.
And so she appealed to the full bench of the federal court. And look, this is the thing. People are so indoctrinated. You've got, when he was walking to court, you can see all his supporters walking with him. They're all women. They want a man, they're taking the side of a man to go into women's spaces against something themselves. See, this is the thing, very indoctrinated, and this is what I mentioned in a previous show. Like before, I could not understand why women were not given the vote and were not allowed on the jury. Yeah, this is a fact, yeah? And then they changed it, and all that. And like most women, I was outraged at that concept and that idea.
What were you outraged about specifically? Just so I can get
because that women were not allowed to vote and men were.
Got it.
Back then, and then women are not allowed to sit on the jury. And I was saying, what, you think we're incompetent? You know. And that was my outrage. And then now, in perspective, I understand why they did that. Okay, the way they did that is because women are far easier to manipulate.
Okay.
Because they're very emotional by the emotions. And especially when you've got a jury, your juror, you're dealing with people's lives. It has to be based on fact, not emotion.
Got it.
Yeah. And I realised that there is a court case that I was aware of, and for all rights, even though the judge said, look, to the jury, you can't find this man guilty. Guess what? Guilty.
Wow.
Because, there was this little boy, the mother having a grief over the little boy's death. Someone's got to be responsible. You know, and that gets into the heart of people, where the facts are, and according to law, you can't find him guilty. Even the judge commented on that. You can't find him guilty. Guilty. Okay, that is a reason. That is about sitting on jury, and before about sitting about voting, same sort of thing. You say, look at these women, how emoted them. They're against women. They're fighting for men against women, by all logic. Okay, and that's why they're very easy to manipulate. Just like instances of them persuading women to support late-term abortions. You know, pressuring you're not going with, and using emotive things. You're not going to let a man tell you what to do with your body, are you? You heard of that?
Yeah.
Where it was in fact, there's a very lucrative fetus industry. Selling. So you heard of a lot of medications relying on fetal stem cells.
Yep.
Where do you think they get it from?
Right.
Aborted fetuses.
Oh my days.
Yeah, and and late-term abortions, they love it because the baby's basically fully formed, and so then they can get organs.
Oh gosh.
With that industry, we're telling you dirty. But so they're able to trick women, and women are very gullible.
That wouldn't be here though in Australia, right? You're talking mainly overseas.
Late-term abortions, yes, but generally, see, women it's still women there agreeing with it and pushing for their right to terminate their child up until labour. It's ridiculous, and women are buying it,
right?
Even though they've been manipulating. Yeah, produce the organs for us. But telling them, you don't want a man to tell you what to do with your body. Right. Abortion is great.
Are there any numbers on this,
Abortion
Dragonfly?
Is a huge amount of them, but there are states are pushing their law for late-term abortions up until labour, the point of labour. And there was, I think a few years ago, even the state of Maryland went further. Within 1 month of birth, if you decide you no longer want the baby, you can just leave it outside to die, no problem. They're calling it post-birth abortion. It's ridiculous.
Sounds completely nuts.
It's ridiculous, and your woman's rights. They're pushing it. They're justifying it to women, convincing women that it's your right to do what you want. Have a baby.
I've got to be honest. I don't know a lot about this, and I need to know more.
Yeah, there is a lot, but anyway, we're digressing. The point is that look. And so like this appeal, it just happened. This case come out. The full bench of the federal court saying not only put aside the original decision. It's not indirect discrimination. It is direct discrimination. That's a woman that you've just discriminated against. This has a huge, and not only that, if not 10,000, 20,000, you've got to pay him plus legal fees.
Sorry, start again.
You've got to pay.
So there was an appeal, was there?
Okay. The initial ruling from the federal court was indirect discrimination.
Got it.
You pay him 10,000 plus his legal fees.
Yep.
Now she's appealed
to
so the full bench
panel. Yep.
of the federal court.
Yeah.
which is 2 women and 1 man.
Right.
And guess what? Now the rule set aside the original. It's even more worse. Direct discrimination. Now you have to pay him 20, not 10, plus his costs. And you know what? The Equal Rights Commissioner was supporting him. The Department of Women was supporting him as well. It really goes back to me like, what's a woman then? It's very important. But by their ruling, they're saying that any biological man that then identifies as a woman is a woman. This is huge legal ramifications, and we're going to talk about why that is very important. Definitions of man and woman, and you know they're convincing women, trying to convince women and saying, "Oh, gender is fluid, sex is fluid," that sort of thing. Because women are by nature nurturing.
Yes.
And caring. They're trying to appeal to that aspect of the woman to manipulate her through that, and they're succeeding. It works. It's worked.
I mean, definitely you're right. They are definitely more caring, conciliatory as well. Like because they believe in the better good rather than.
That's why. Oh, why can't we all get along? That's why you don't. It's not a good idea to have female defense ministers. Because sometimes you've got to have the balls to go in and say, okay, I'm going to give you the chop.
Right.
Whereas women tend to make sure everyone's happy. Why can't we all get along? Appeasement.
You're pretty firm, though, Miss Dragonfly. I reckon you could be our defence minister. I reckon we might throw you up.
You know what? Some people have said I've got more balls than most men.
I'm not arguing with you. So what's ended up happening here? I mean, what's your take on this, Miss Dragonfly?
Look, I take on it. Look, what? Let's go through what this case really represents. Okay. You know, that Tickle and Giggle represents. Look, Giggle for Girls was a women's only app. This is the facts are. And look, this case has become very symbolic. It's not just about app access. Okay, huge legal ramifications. This is about whether women can define only female-only spaces by biological sex.
Yep.
Okay, and it raises a question about language, safety, dignity, privacy law, and sex-based rights. I mean, like, you know, just starting this show where we were fumbling whether or not to call the plaintiff a he or a she, refer to that person. Mm-hmm. See, yes, it's affecting language.
Yes, it is. Yeah. It does. Well, it does affect language. 100%.
Yeah, straight away. Okay, and you know, supporters of the judgment is framing it as a protection against gender identity discrimination, and critics frame it though as erasing women's sex-based boundaries. Because the question is. Then becomes no longer who was excluded, but the question is who gets to define womanhood then. The funny thing is we keep hearing say, well, what's a woman? Fumble, but no one's asking the question, what's a man? If a woman is someone that identifies as a woman, well, what's a man then? Is a man someone that identifies as a man as well? You don't hear the question asking what's a man. Why is that? Because transgenders do not want to go into men's spaces, they want to go into women's spaces, don't they? You ever hear of a transgender man, a woman with the exterior of a man, having an issue going into a man's bathroom? Men are not going to feel threatened, are they? If anything, that transgender man would probably be in some trouble being in a man's restroom. Open itself up vulnerable, or men's change rooms. You probably wouldn't want to go into a men's change room though, would they? A transgender man.
I don't know. It's difficult for me to make. I wouldn't understand I don't understand. I mean, I've never seen. And I've put my hand on my heart and say I've never seen a woman in a man's bathroom.
Yeah.
In my lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting question, Miss Dragonfly. I don't have the answers.
Yeah, it's just...
But I think that, there's definitely all of the morals and values, they're being challenged right now, right?
Yeah, very, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's often put ahead, look, we went through a stage even a few years ago, and it lasted a few years, where there's insanity over LGBT and rainbow thing, and you had LGBT month, the whole month, and everything was pushing with transgenderism, and it was almost like, oh, what's wrong with everyone? And everyone seems to go along with the flow, and because everyone was scared of being attacked for being contrary. Say something a lot, and then just like, you have the reaction, oops, should I say female, should I say she? There's that fear.
What do you...
And BJ, what's a man?
And what's a man?
What's a man?
Oh, jeez, when you work it out, let me know. It's a big question.
Okay, look, is it feeling? You feel like a man? Or it's just the way you dress? Oh, yeah.
For me?
You've got a man dressed like a man. You're a man. Okay.
I've never had any doubt about it.
Oh, you're labelled a man? Oh, well, that's what it says on my document, so I guess I'm a man. Or is it a personal declaration? I feel like a man. I'm a man, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But really? But is it all there is to being a man? Clothing, feelings? Or really... traditionally, manhood has been associated with what? Biology?
Yes.
Well, remember old biology class. Female is XX and chromosome, and a male is an XY chromosome.
Okay.
And how is that determined? That's determined from the moment of conception. Mm-hmm. So it's a Y chromosome carrying sperm, or an X chromosome carrying sperm, and that determines it. Yeah, I mean, and the fatherhood potential as well, and physical strength. Yeah.
Yes.
Protection. Well, what's male and what's masculine? People associate with being male. Masculinity, protection, provision, being a provider. Okay, I'm saying this is all the traditional stuff. I know all these people of the left, where left is gonna arc up about it. All this, they're saying women can protect as well and women can provide, but that's not what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about traditionally. Okay, and men build.
Yes.
Yes, I mean
we do like to build.
Yeah, you do like to build. I mean, I have to say, basically, almost all inventions have been made by men. I mean, men build skyscrapers, planes, cars. Okay, even build your house. If anyone's called a tradie over, is it who turns up? It's a man.
Okay.
How many women have you ever had a female tradie?
I've seen them.
Yeah. And you're not talking about the lollipop ones, the holding the signs in the roads. We're talking about actual carpenters, plumbers, or...
Electricians, yes.
More electricians, because that's not as heavy work.
Okay.
It makes sense.
Yeah, but even plumbers. I've seen a few female plumbers.
But how many people have had a female plumber come to their place to fix something?
It's a good question. I don't know. Maybe we should do a survey.
It's a survey. I mean, and the people, but if it's a female that's turned up, you requested a carpenter or a plumber, and a woman turns up, how do you feel? Turns up to do the job. What's your first reaction?
I mean, look, definitely surprised, because it would be the expectation based on... But I think things are changing.
Yeah, would you still say, all right, oh, great, come in and do the work?
As long as they could do the work.
As long as they do the work, this is the thing, as long as they can do the work, because there's a bit of a doubt whether or not they can do the work.
Okay.
There's a little, wouldn't we say, look, we've got to be honest. I mean, the average person, and a typical reaction is kind of,
I would think if a woman was doing that type of trade, the way I would see it in my mind would be that she'd have to be so good at it, because she'd be ridiculed by so many people. So she would have to be excellent.
People being critical of it.
Yeah.
And
that's what I would think.
And that's what you would think, but it comes from somewhere, doesn't it? Come on, so it's unconscious, and for a good reason. Is that one, the strength issue, and secondly, there is another thing called spatial ability that comes from testosterone, not just strength.
Yep.
A very good case in point is parallel parking.
Okay.
Sure.
So men are better at parallel parking than women?
Well, come on, you ask anyone out there what's been their experience. Okay? But that does not require strength to do parallel parking.
It's a skill, right?
It's a skill, but it's called spatial ability because it's about judgment. When do you turn? Okay, and the angle and so forth.
Oh my days.
True, that's the spatial ability.
There are going to be people absolutely going crazy listening to us tonight. They're saying I can parallel park better than my husband.
But look how many jokes are there out there about women and parallel parking.
Okay, all right.
True. They're saying, and everything, it comes from something. There's a reason why.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah. And so look, men do risk taking far more than women do.
Right.
True?
Well,
Yeah,
I think
all these venture seekers and things like that.
I think generally women prefer safety, and I think that there's a lot to that, especially if they have
More
children.
cautious.
That's a really, you look at animals and the way animals interact. Gorillas and lions and things like that. Is that especially in the gorilla population, is this one alpha male, and he has many women.
Yeah.
But they're always looking at him and saying, well, if you can't protect us or look after our tribe, well, we'll find the next one.
It was just like the lions.
Yeah.
You know how the pride of lions is one male and all these females?
Yes.
And he's expected to do his job.
Yes.
Yeah, in terms of protecting the pride. I mean, they've got a different arrangement. The females are the one that hunt, bring it in, but he has to do the protection.
So I think if you're talking from an instinctive point of view, I think that just in the evolution of us, I think that an element of that still exists today. Yes, I would give you that for sure.
So,
as risk takers, women
risk takers
like safety.
Yeah, prefer. Well, look, people can criticise and say like this is all a generalisation and so forth, but then if something, even in science, if it happens 80% of the time, it's reliable. Okay. I mean, are you going to go through life ignoring it, and treating it all that happened either way, 50% chance, and nothing, or you're relying on something that's going to happen 80% of the time?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Okay, but also responsibility. I mean, it's just like I know men and women have their own responsibilities, but there's a different type of responsibility with manhood. You're responsible for your family.
Yep.
The well-being of your family. They never so much look at the woman saying, "Oh, what's wrong with you? Why did you allow your son to get attacked?"
Yeah.
But they'll criticize the man. Look at man. How did you allow
Absolutely.
your son to get attacked?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's different. And look, and also leadership under pressure.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Men typically are expected to be able to take the pressure, lead, and take pressure, and be able to make the difficult decisions, don't they? And that is really a test of manhood, is being able to deal with difficult situations and make the decisions, make the hard decisions.
You don't think that the female population have to make difficult decisions under pressure?
Why would you ask that?
Well, I'm just saying, the reason I'm asking is because I don't think it's just men that what you're saying is that, women, there's different types of leadership, right?
Yeah.
Is that you've got corporate leadership, you've got family leadership, and I think that, there's leadership demonstrated in raising children. As a mother, you need to be a leader, right?
In that, no, it's more of a space of, because that's her domain.
Right.
She looks after that area.
Okay.
True?
Yep.
But but really, when people talk about leadership, like what you just brought up, corporate leadership, and what was the other one?
Well, just in business, right? Generally.
In business, corporate leadership.
Under pressure.
Under pressure, and it's normally men. True? And there's a reason why is that women cannot take that type of stress. That's why you see in corporates, the ones that make it to the board, predominantly men, for a very good reason. It's because men are willing to do the hours. You've got, and this is statistics. Women take more holidays, do less overtime, and so forth. Work less hours. It's a reason, and so, who are you going to reward? You're going to reward the person that consistently stays back all the time and puts in more hours, or the one that takes every holiday and leave that they're entitled to? Come on. Even as a business owner, to be fair.
So what you're saying to me is you think men are better leaders in business?
No, they can take the pressure.
Okay.
They can take the pressure better.
Okay.
Not every man though.
Okay.
There's lots of soy boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and beta men that will fall over. They will not never make the cut. And if women are honest, those men do not appeal to them at all. If women are going to be honest, even feminists.
Right. They prefer someone.
Yeah, because it's instinct.
Yeah,
they're able to protect and provide. Be a man.
Got it.
They don't want a man that acts like a woman. What's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Strong words.
Yeah, what's the point? But, okay, in terms of taking, they're taking the pressure and the stress, difficult decisions, because your decision that you make affects your entire family. And I guess in a leader of a country or something, what their decisions they make affect millions of people.
Right.
It's a heavy responsibility. And that's why it's very stressful. And like, say, leaders in corporate, they're affecting the whole company. These decisions to make, and sometimes it's very difficult. They're saying, and it's a job where I guess a lot of women don't want, because then thinking the pressure, well, I'm going to be responsible for so many people. I rely on my decision. If I get it wrong, how many people is that going to affect? And look, this is very important. Like, not every man is physically strong. Yeah, true. And not every man becomes a father. And not every man is a protector in practice. You have them running away. Or you can see some hiding behind children or women. Okay, just like, look, back when the Titanic was sinking, and back in those days, who gets to go? The people that get to go onto the lifeboats were the women and children. Yes, yeah. Because they were seen as the more vulnerable. Men were brave enough to take it. But now it's no longer the case, is it? You don't think you see that.
So it's everyone for themselves.
More like everyone's equal. Everyone's for themselves, kind of thing. But isn't that the thing? And I remember when we had the that terrorist attack at the Link Cafe. And I think one of the critics, I think it might have been a Fred Nile back then, one of the conservative, criticising the men there that were not protecting the women during that attack. Because the men, first chance, they took off themselves.
Really?
Yeah, that was the case. And he got attacked by, of all things, from other women. See? They have to really stop and think how dumb you're being. Okay. Because they're saying, look, women have just as much right to be killed by others, just like men do.
Miss Dragonfly, you are on fire today. You are absolutely on fire.
All right, but this is actually necessary to speak at these, because there's a very good reason. I mean, look. As a category, men have historically carried male biological and social realities, yeah? And look, because manhood is not just an identity claimed, it is connected to the body, your role, responsibility, and reality. I mean, like, how do you feel if you know, your wife, there's an issue with the neighbor, and your wife goes out to deal with it herself? You know, how would you feel? You probably feel a bit, even if you're sick in bed, you don't feel comfortable about that, do you? How would you personally feel? Yeah.
Look, I don't know. Would I feel less of a man if my wife went outside and took care of a problem?
Took care of your house's problem?
Or a house problem? I don't know. I don't think... For me, it's different. I wouldn't feel less of a man because of that. You know, if she asked me and said, look, you know, that's, you know, you need to come and handle this because it's getting physical, or it requires someone of a different... You know what I mean? That it was a different thing. Or if it was a man that was aggressive or so, yeah, of course. Like, you know, definitely I'd be there to protect my family. But I don't know. I don't know if you know my wife, but she's pretty good at conflict resolution. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, but I was thinking about it's equality. I mean, should be able to handle it just as well as you do, and all that sort of thing. But there's different things. There's jobs for a man and jobs for a woman, because there are things that a man can do, and some things you need a man for, and some things you need a woman for.
Do you believe that this is important in relationships? Is that that when you're matching with someone that you have good alignment in these areas? Like I'm you know, this is what I will do. This is what you will do.
Yeah.
And do you think that it's important that they both have that?
Yeah, they both
very
have that
closely aligned.
However, biology naturally makes people revert to their natural roles anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's no way a woman's like, oh, look, I think I've got a flat tire. She goes, no, don't do that. Don't change the flat tire. I can change it myself. Come on. Or she really likely to say, BJ, the car tire's flat. Meaning go change it. Okay, so you naturally fall into those roles, okay, yourself, but because it's biology, but you should not be embarrassed or to admit that. To admit that, look, you know, you're good at this area, I'm good at this area. How about we both look after, do the areas that we're naturally good at?
So did I do the wrong thing when I taught my daughter how to change a tyre? Am I doing the wrong thing by teaching her to do that?
No, it's just another skill. But for her, she probably wouldn't, if she had a choice, probably prefer not to have to do it herself. You can ask her, and she'll probably say the same thing.
Rightio.
But if she's stuck, then she changes it. But if there's a man around to change it, then he should do it. Strength. It's just like there's a man around and there's a 20-kilo box to lift. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, even though she probably can do it, but wouldn't it be far easier for him to do it?
Yep.
So then he should do it.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
I'm not saying when it comes to that, you know, when it's physical strength or something that, you know, is there. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, but there's certain other things, but even a tire change is not too physical, but how many women have you met that would like to change a tire themselves?
Yeah, I don't know.
Never haven't met a woman that would love to prefer changing the tire herself.
No, I don't think. When you say prefer or love to, I don't think anyone really loves to change a tire. I don't love to change a tire myself. When I
prefer that she does it herself.
Right.
She probably not.
Yeah.
I say, but probably say it will be some leftist woman that tries to prove some point.
Okay.
Really, as you say, no, I'll do it. But if she had the choice, someone else around that would available to do it, yeah, you do it.
Wowzers.
Come on. But okay, this is the big question that we've been asking in the last few years. What is a woman? What makes a woman? Look, is it defined by makeup? dresses, long hair, softness, liking feminine things. I'm a lady, you know, and I do lady things. How others perceive her. You know, just because someone puts on a dress and lipstick, that's not a woman, is it? You heard the whole adage of putting lipstick on a pig? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's still a pig.
Right.
Same thing. That's not just a woman. That's not all a woman. Like, there are men that actually, do the whole cross-dressing thing and say, oh, yeah, I'm a trans, where they had done nothing else. No surgery, no hormones, no nothing. That's right. Look. But womanhood have traditionally been connected to female biology, motherhood potential, menstruation, and reproductive reality for many women. And this is the thing. I couldn't believe this. I was in town. I was in the city.
Right.
And I went to the ladies' restroom.
Okay.
And on the back, I closed the door. On the back of the door, it was commenting about doing pap smears.
Okay.
And you know what it says? This is a government notice. You know, health notice saying for women and people that menstruate, have a pap smear. People that menstruate.
Okay.
Who else that menstruates other than women?
Right.
God, it was ridiculous.
And this was on the back of a bathroom door in the city, wasn't
and it was from the government.
And it was issued by, okay, wow.
That's what is very, very disturbing.
I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. That's what I saw. Okay, look, and pregnancy and childbirth for many women. I mean, like, you know, if there's a trans woman having a holding the belly and crying out in pain, would you think, maybe that person is having a miscarriage? Even as medical staff, you wouldn't think that, would you? In those instances where you need to know, is that a man or a woman? So you can rule it out. And also, women, like I said, are nurturing, more intuitive, emotional awareness, and family building. Women like to nest, you know, settle down and nest, white picket fence, that sort of thing. And it's social bonding. Women form friendships and so forth. They might go meet another lady in the ladies' restroom and have a chat and come out the best of friends. You see that? Or you might have, at a social gathering, a lady might go get up from her chair and say, I'm going to the ladies. Would you like to come? I say, all right. You see that happen all the time.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, but have you ever seen a bloke get up and goes, I'm going to have a piss. Hey, buddy, you want to come? No,
well,
everyone would just take
if someone
it to
had
me
said
and take
that to me, I'd be like, there's something going on here.
You see, there's a definite difference.
Yes, I will give you that one. I will give you that one, Miss Dragonfly. 100%.
Look, yes, feminine wisdom as well. Look, and this is very important because not every woman has children, okay? And not every woman menstruates. There's older women that's been past menopause. Okay, of course she's not going to menstruate.
Yep.
And not every woman is nurturing. I mean, there's some women killers in jail.
Yeah.
They're female prisoners.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, because you always have nutcases everywhere. Okay, and because look.
A lot of it comes back to childhood, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Look, the thing is that they're saying, you can't define a woman by just being able to have children, because there are infertile women as well. So aren't they women? So why can't a trans woman also be classified the same? Look, infertile women are still women. It's just like they were meant to have children, but something happened, and they couldn't. It's just like someone was born with just one leg, for instance, and what's your reaction? Is saying that's still a person. This person is no a human is meant to have two legs. So your reaction is, WTF. What happened?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, don't you? You see someone coming with one with just one leg. What happened? It's supposed to be 2 legs, but that's still human. Right? And look, and because the point is that not every woman must do every female function. Doesn't have to tick all those boxes. I mean, the point is that womanhood is as a category is rooted in female reality. It's not merely appearance or self-destruction. I mean, a woman is not a costume, a feeling, or a stereotype. Womanhood is rooted in female reality. Okay. Now, this is an important thing. Why female-only spaces matter. Look, historically, women are biologically, physically weaker, than men. And historically, because of that, women have always been vulnerable to rape, abuse, and all that. Even now, when a woman is killed, the cops automatically suspect the husband. True. Yeah? And because very vulnerable populations, just like when countries, when wartime, and the men are there's no men at home, they're all gone to war, and you've got an invading army. The women, they are very vulnerable for them getting raped by the foreign troops that are invading, and because of all that, women have been given special considerations because of that.
Yes.
Like you have female-only privacy bathrooms, so that men can not go in and be a perv or things like that, where they have some privacy, some space for themselves. And that's also why we also have, like women's only scholarships and things like that. Just try to compensate a bit for that, their disadvantage, so to speak, because we don't have the testosterone. Okay, and we're more vulnerable. We menstruate every month, and with that comes complications and issues. You cannot be like a man, because a man's built differently. They don't have to go through childbirth or bear children. We're getting all those sort of thing to compensate, but then there's some men look over and say, what have you got there? I'd like to go there too. I'm a woman now, I'm going to walk in. You see? That's the line. That's why women are given these female-only spaces. And what does it mean when gender then is then fluid, or you can change? Then you can have biological men gaining Women's Business Awards. Also we're winning beauty pageants as well. And becoming one of our competing women in everything.
Don't you think, though, that corporate, and I'm talking in business here, corporate now and most bigger companies, they aspire to have a percentage of women in leadership, like that, and they're actually like working really hard to make sure that X% of women are part of their senior management team. Okay,
that is just a PR exercise.
It's a PR exercise. Has no strategic value.
Has no strategic value at all.
Wowzers.
It's just to say, look, it's just like it's just being what do you call it? The wokeism. Wokeism. Yeah, it's basically tokenism as well.
Okay.
But and in doing so, you're not getting your best talent if you're going to do quotas.
Wowzers.
Just like a company saying, we want 50% of our engineers being female. That means standards got to be lower, because you're selecting the pool of female talent, say engineers, is far smaller than men. Okay? So because of that, you're choosing from a far smaller pool, and you're taking 50% of, to take 50% off, you're going to have ones that are subpar. And the ones you selected as the 50% female engineers, they may be below the ones that are not in the men, for below the men that you've not selected. True? So everything should be on merit. As I was saying, equal opportunity for everyone.
Right.
Everyone needs to have the same opportunity. If they want to do that, then they can. Everything on merit. However, they should not be forced to just to be able to justify someone else's ideology.
So it should be the best applicant that gets
Should be the
job
applicant.
regardless
Just
of-
like all these feminists going up and saying, oh, you know, should have more female scientists and on, blah, blah. And I said, well, why didn't you become a scientist then? They want other women to do that to prove their point, but it's not something they want to desire to be. Well, why would you think that other women have the same reason, don't want to be a scientist as well? Exactly. And look, there's a big tension. I mean, like, look, and the big thing is, you know, like women's change rooms, refuges, prisons as well, allowing
Yes.
biological men to go into female prisons. And guess what? The female prisoners are getting raped.
Oh, what?
Yep.
Wowzers.
They hadn't had the snip yet.
Oh. So it
And
was-
this is ideology. This is women paying the price.
Okay.
Women paying the price. And it's other women doing it to other women. Okay, women, feminists do not love women. I call them fake feminists. You're only a feminist if you really do love women. I'm a true feminist. I'm there battling for women, doing the good fight. We have value as a woman, and we should not be subject to that. And also health services as well. Like say, I cannot believe in hospital admissions. There, I think, you know, you have to tick the box of sex, saying undefined.
Yeah.
And if your doctor is seeing an undefined, you cannot help that person.
Right.
If it's a sex-specific matter,
Okay.
you know, or like prostate issue, or uterine issue. If it's undefined, how would I know? You know what I'm saying? So then you wouldn't think that maybe that issue came from the prostate, or came from because there might have been a uterine infection. You wouldn't think of that, and you couldn't.
Yeah.
And look, and for women's networks like this Giggle app, and look, anti-discrimination laws are designed to protect people from exclusion, but women also need the boundaries and sex-based protections because of all those issues. Okay, and look, if women cannot define the boundaries of women-only spaces, then women-only spaces become legally fragile. And what's the cost of that? You know, yeah, you're going to have the collapse of like biological reality. We're going to have a problem. What's a man? What's a woman? And people's identity. And problems arise because when biological sex is treated as irrelevant, and stereotypes become evidence of identity, and women's boundaries get dismissed as bigotry. You're a bigot because you're not accepting a trans woman into your dressing room. And I guess this was in the UK, where they said there was a biological man that came into the women's dressing room, that the women feel very, very uncomfortable, and their complaints were dismissed. They were told, you go get counselling, so so your mind can accept that. And that man was there, wasn't changing, just there to just look at the women. And they complained, and they were told they were the bigots. Women are paying the price for this, and it's women doing it to other women. Okay, and you go to support all the way. Sex Discrimination Commissioner was there supporting that Roxanne Tickle as well. And she actually said, I don't know what a woman is. I'm not a biologist. What are you doing being the commissioner for sex discrimination if you don't even know what a woman is?
So you're okay, yeah.
Yeah. Really? Wow. So really, it goes back, look, what it means for families and children. I mean, children need clarity. And families need the truth.
Yeah.
A healthy society teaches children, like, boys and girls are different. Remember there was that scene in Kindergarten Cop where that little boy, not sure I can say it, but he spouted to Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he goes, this little boy in kindergarten goes, boys have a penis and girls have a vagina. That scene in that kindergarten cough. Even a kid knows it. What it is. He goes, thanks for the tip. Look, men and women both matter. Masculinity and femininity both have value, really. And biology is not shameful. And compassion does not require denying reality, people. Okay? And look, parents should be able to teach children what women and men are, and children should not be confused into thinking sex is meaningless. Because families must preserve truth, language, and common sense. Okay? Well, thank you so much for coming in, BJ. We're coming towards the end of our show.
Gee whiz, big eye-opening show today for me.
Yeah, it was a big show. I mean, but it's, look, to people out there, this might be a pretty uncomfortable topic.
Yeah.
But it needs to be discussed.
Okay.
Really.
Yeah.
Because and even people are criticizing men that refuse to date transgender women, saying they're bigots. Look at the real women. But really, a man's instinct is that's not a woman, is it? When it comes
I don't know. I think
to
some men would be
dating.
happy with that. Some men would be, just because of the way of their genetic makeup, right? Like, or not their genetic makeup, but because of their beliefs or the way they were brought up, or
If they were of that fluid sexuality, I guess it doesn't matter. But for a full heterosexual male, that is a big ask.
Yeah, I don't.
Let's say it's just like that's not a real blonde. That's a brunette with hair dye.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. You're right. It is a very difficult topic. It is difficult to discuss.
But it needs to be discussed. And
it's hard.
And I hope, though, word is that Sal Grover is going to appeal to the High Court.
Okay.
That'll be very expensive. I hope her supporters, including J.K. Rowling's, she was following this case.
Oh, wow.
I hope she bankrolls her.
Oh, wow.
Because it'll be so expensive going to the High Court. But this is very necessary for it to determine. If not, then then Parliament needs to legislate. Okay, and Angus Taylor, I think opposition leader said that if he gets into government, he would legislate it.
Wow.
I mean, by the way, the Sex Discrimination Act was the reason why we had to have all this mess is because it was amended by Julia Gillard back then, by a woman.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's why we've got this big mess. So just like they amended and took off. I mean, John Howard back then, he was adamant. Back then, it wasn't an issue, but he made it clear through the law that a marriage was between a man and a woman. That's why in every ceremony you had since then, until they had the same-sex marriage, they read out, marriage is between a man and a woman in Australia. If you've been to a wedding, you would have heard that.
Yep.
And so this is something that we need to clarify as well.
Okay.
So thank you so much for coming in. Reminder, everyone, follow me on my Facebook pages, Miss Dragonfly, and Make Marriage Great Again. And I'm going to close with this. Look, this case is bigger than one person, one app, or one court outcome. It asks whether women are allowed to exist as a real recognisable class with boundaries, language, and protections. People can be treated with dignity without society forced to abandon biological truth. I'm Miss Dragonfly, and this is The Relationship Whisperer. Let's make marriage great again by telling the truth about men, women, family, and the reality that holds society together. Okay? So thank you all for listening, and don't forget to follow me same time next week. And so until then, it's bye for now.